Hope everyone's going well. Just a little quick thing I want to show how you can sort of flatten up a board that you've just done a glue up on. It doesn't have to be overly dramatic, the whole process of it. Just give you an example. At this stage, I'm making a couple of these sandwich platter boards, just using basically just leftover stuff. So obviously whatever I've cut, they've all got sort of different thicknesses of materials here. That's not a problem at all. Half the battle is when you do your glue up, you want to make sure you get at least one side reasonably flat. So after you do the process of chiseling off the excess glue, shouldn't be too much if you've done your clean up beforehand. You know, just take off all your high spots and things like that. So there's actually a couple of ways you can do this. You can prepare some sort of jigs and setups where you can put an oversized piece and run that through your planer by including wedges in the different spots. So you'll get a more accurate sort of plane as it's fed through. But if it's not too bad, such as boards where they've sat on a flat surface and you've used pretty much the right clamping procedure, they're not too bad. So once that glue's off, it's just as simple as getting. I've got this little bit of red gum. I use hardwood for it. It's a scrap once again. I've got a couple of screws and I just drive those into the top of my bench. So I've already got the existing holes for it. So we'll just fix that. And it's always good to make sure that this scrap piece is under the width of the piece that you're going to sand. So I'll be using a belt sander to flatten out the other side. And I'll just get that smooth. If it's overly dramatic, over rough, you can always use a hand plane or a planer, but then you have the chance of getting that tear out, chipping that off the end here. So I just use a belt sander. I maybe put a few marks with a pencil, find out where my high spots really are, and we'll just go along and take care of that, and that should flatten it out nicely. So let's do that. So if you were using a plane or things like that, you can get bench hooks where it's the same thing. You set up a jig and that makes life easier with manual tools. But seeing as this is a belt-driven sander, the orientation of this sandpaper is going that way, so it's going to be forcing this back. So I'm just merely going to put it on this side, butt it up there, and that's looking a bit better. Always try to go a little bit offset to the angle and make light passes, working it either way from there to there and then back, and then just reassessing where you're at. So let's check this out. So the table saw surface is probably in everyone's workshop the largest surface where we can reference things off to, in particular, to see and check to see if they're flat. So it's as good as anything. Workbenches, because mine's timber, it's probably subject to different types of movements, and you take gouge out here and there. So if we check this is pretty good. Probably no real indicators to say there's a high spot. I can see a little bit of a gap. I think I'll just do a little bit more work on this and then try it once again. So that's done the trick. It's brought it up all right now, flattened it off a bit, and that's all that was needed to do on this. It's as I said, it was just a little bit of a tidy up, get it flat as you can, and then you're ready for the next process of putting it through your thicknesser, sizing it, and what have you. So yes, as I said, great source of reference to work out flatness. Use your table saw. something I use. Anything larger, well, you're going to have to look for another type of flat surface, but this works for just the garage type woodworking projects that we're all doing. So anyway, this is the first time you've viewed Sumo's projects. Subscribe if you feel that way inclined, that helps me, and give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell, and that's advice to say there's another video out that I've made. Well guys, get out in the shed, do some woodworking, have a bit of fun, relax, and till next time, be good.